Now let's talk about fears and how we can work with our fears, collaborate with our fears through shadow work as tool number 7. It is probably the most important thing and easiest thing to do when it comes to shadow work. Work with your fears. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine your fears as one entity, one being that is huge or seems huge, and it is like a beast that wants to eat you up, wants to consume you, and you feel like threatened by this or kept captive, being captive of that beast, that huge beast, that if you walk that direction, they will come and find you. If you walk in the other direction, they will come and find you again. That huge beast, that is your fear. And you're actually trying to do something and constantly trying, but not doing it because of these fears. And you are in a space feeling trapped, feeling tied up. Eight of Swords if you're working with tarots and you want a different image. On that, let me pause and find the card. This is the card, the Eight of Swords. Being trapped, but not actually trapped. And she can escape, she can remove those bands, those around her and the blinder, and she can escape because the swords are not creating an obstacle. And behind there is the village here. She can go in that direction and find help and support even more. So this is exactly what the fears represent, that beast where it makes us feel trapped in many ways. Most fears come from other lifetimes. Yet there is a huge reason why they show up in this timeline where we are walking on, and we are walking on multiple timelines. It's time we are shifting timelines. So there is a reason why a fear, even from a past life, shows up. We are going to explore that on the next video. But there are the fears that come from other lifetimes connected to this one. There are the fears that motivate us. If I don't do this, I am afraid I'm gonna be left out. I will not succeed in my initial goal. I will not accomplish anything, or the fear that I won't have exactly what I'm asking for to have in this lifetime. So these are the motivational fears. And there comes a point in your awakening path where these fears will be eliminated. You won't have to be afraid of losing something in order to get motivated and do something different or new, or actually take actions in one direction out of fear. Yet there are those fears as well that keep us back. They are that huge beast that makes us afraid of something, scared of something, of claiming what is ours to be claimed, for stepping into our own power, into our own sovereignty, of being who we are meant to be. Those fears are usually connected to the root chakra, of course, but not only to that. And those fears are to be integrated. So on this specific video, I'm going to share a tool, energetic tool that you can work with. When a fear shows up, how you can work with that? Okay, the fear of me being successful, which mentally doesn't make sense, but it is there, holding me back, not allowing me to create what I'm here to be creating, or holding myself back, and so on and so forth. The fear that if I do something differently from what I usually do, something will change and something bad will happen. Or the fear that most people go through at the initial steps of the awakening process, that if something good happens to me, I can't be happy for that because something will happen to spoil it. And I'm expecting for the other shoe to drop instead of being happy and excited. And usually this is connected to the first awakening steps of the process. So how do we deal with these fears? My first advice is actually to work with them, collaborate, and keep that in mind for any kind of fear. Collaborate with your fears, entertain them. The more you are leaving them without dealing with them, leaving them be in your energy, around your energy actually, and you're not dealing with them, the more power they get out of you. They feed from your energy. And you know what's the magical thing of all? That fear, which is outside of you, has been created from your energies. I could say in shamanism that it is a part of your energy that is cut off due to an event, due to something that went wrong, whatever the reason. We don't focus on that now, but it is a part of your energy that has been altered in some ways, and you are afraid of it. And it, it has a hold of you because you are not integrating it, you are not taking it in. So when a fear shows up, a fear that is stopping you from claiming something, from creating something better, from any sorts of these things, close your eyes. Imagine the fear, visualize it. What is the image that comes in front of you? Is it like a beast as I described it? Is it like something more, something different? What does it look like? For me, one of my fears had an image of who I was at a specific age. A bit thinner, with darker hair that I had before, and she was a completely different person than who I am or who I was back then. And I was, what's going on with this? It had a specific vibration. So what I did was entertaining the fears that I was feeling connected to that image. And I was playing them out in my mind. Okay, so what am I afraid of? This and that and that and that. And it had taken form. Okay, so I stayed with that form in front of me with closed eyes in a meditative state, and this is the energy tool I was talking about. And I just took it in. I breathed, I actually took a breath and took it in to integrate it. Okay, I see you, I hear you, I feel you, but you won't have power over me. I took a breath in with that energy and it started integrating it within my own system. I reclaimed that part of mine, and it was connected with many lifetimes. And with this one, it had to do how I was used as a priestess, as an oracle, abused in many ways, and so on and so forth. And she had a very strong sexual energy, and I was afraid of that energy. She was possessing. The minute I took that energy in, the minute I integrated that part of mine that was cut off, all the fears connected to that went away. Not magically, but because I had integrated with courage, with bravery, if you wish, but mostly with curiosity of why are you there? Why aren't you in here? So I breathe again. I took a breath in, allowed that energy to return to me, to my system, to my soul and spirit, and it became one with me. And as we became one, everything else that was dark or created fears in me or doubts about who I am went away because none of those things were true. There were limiting beliefs blended with part of my energy, blended with a lot of other things that weren't even mine. Part of them were mine, okay, yes, but the minute I took it in, integrated in my whole system, I stopped being afraid of specific things. And observing myself after that integration, everything shifted. Everything shifted in my way of thinking, in my way of responding to specific situations in my life, of how I was dealing with specific people in my life. Everything shifted. So sit with these fears. Visualize how they look like, how they make you feel like, where in your body do you feel the fear, and where exactly in your body you feel the fear is the space where that energy was cut off from. So when you integrate that energy, it goes in a healthy way and fills in that gap, energetical gap, where you felt the fear initially, and integrates with your own energy in your system and creates a chain reaction in your beliefs and your way of thinking, processing, and responding, acting, or reacting in some cases. Don't be afraid of your fears. Collaborate with your fears. Integrate them. Another kind of fear we are processing with a lot when it comes to shadow work has to do with the next step. For example, I want to take the next step in that aspect of my work, but I am a kind of afraid of doing that. In that space, if you find yourself procrastinating, constantly leaving something for the next day, the next week, the next month, and so on and so forth, it's not your energy building up on that. It is you holding back from taking that step. In that exactly space where you have been pointed and observed yourself stopping yourself from doing something, sit down with a notebook. Take a notebook and a pen and write about all the things you are afraid of and why you are not taking that step forward. If you are meant to be creating a new YouTube channel, that is an example of one of my recent clients. Sit down with your fears, what you are afraid of. That client is an amazing client, powerful beyond words. Their energy is amazing, is creating amazing results, and they are working with amazing team in spirit. So when I asked them to write down all the reasons they were afraid of taking that step, it was eye-opening for them. Eye-opening. And because I know how this goes and I have done these steps for myself, every single time that I want to do something new and I'm holding back, I'm writing down what exactly I am afraid of. In that way, I become more aware of these fears. I integrate them. I work them out or work through them, with them, and I embody them. And I get myself to be on the next step by having worked out all my fears. If you are ignoring your fears, and you are just doing and doing and doing these fears instead of the size, that size that were initially, when they are ignored, they're gonna go like this, until they become a huge, vast energy that you won't be able to deal with at all. And then they will overwhelm you to a level that I can't even explain. So instead of ignoring those fears, face them, collaborate with them, sit with them, and you will figure out a lot of things about yourself. Your awareness will be expanding, and this is how we do shadow work as well. By pointing out what is stopping me, what am I afraid of. And in some ways you can take some actions as precaution. In other ways you can integrate the fears. In other ways you can know what you to be aware of, what you are dealing with, how to set energetic boundaries, how to create a magnetic field that is appropriate for you. Okay, it gives a lot of clarity in so many levels you have no idea of. So if you want to do something, but something is stopping you, sit down and ask this question: what am I afraid of? In that space, you will be figuring out a list of things that will bring you so clarity, release, inner freedom, and the path clears for you to walk on it. And that is a process we constantly do. Don't get me wrong that this is done once and you are done, it's completed. We constantly doing. The other day I had released a video on my YouTube channel which made me feel I had watched it back and back again. And I was okay, let me do it. It doesn't feel this or that. And through that video, I had for a week or so entertaining all the doubts, the worries, and what energy am I giving off? What kind of energies does this video invite in my space? And is this too vulnerable for me to share or what? So I entertained everything over and over again until I became super clear with myself. And I grounded that, integrated that in my whole being that this is who I am, this is why I'm sharing this. Usually, it's better to do this kind of work before you get yourself out there. But sometimes you will have to do this work afterwards, and that's okay. Because you were guided initially, because you thought that this is the best approach. For many reasons, you first took the step and then you had to deal with the consequences of the fears you hadn't dealt with before. So sit down again with yourself, entertain those, and what will bring you as a result, and this is why I'm inviting you to do, is more confidence, more trust in yourself, more aware of your worth, more aware of who you are, and again, expansion of awareness. Okay, see you on the next video about the irrational fears, which is something very interesting.